kind-hearted people. Welcome once again to Party of One, a podcast about getting to know fascinating people through the shared experience of play. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I am joined by Kieron Gillen for a game of Apocalypse Keys. Kieron is an incredible comic book writer. His works include Young Avengers and Journey into Mystery, The Wicked and the Divine, and his newest works, The Power Fantasy, a look at a world in which there are 6 superpowered individuals, each of whom is powerful enough to destroy the entire planet, and what it looks like to live and to try and navigate that world. And Die Loaded, the dark, anticipated sequel to his incredible comic book and role-playing game combination, Die, a dark fantasy comic about the twisted world of a role-playing game come to life. Kieron's work is incredible. I've said this in an email to Kieron when we were picking games, but the thing about his work that really speaks to me is he takes these big, cerebral ideas and he grounds them in very human interactions, and it creates something that is impossible not to get swept up in. I was so excited to get to sit down, play a game, and really play in that space for a little while. You can check out more information about all of those books, as well as his newsletter, Old Men Running the World, where he writes about tabletop role-playing games online, which, if you're listening to this audio, there's a real chance you might dig that. You can find all of my information about that in the show notes. I sat down with Kieron to play one of my favorite games, a game that he also wrote a stretch goal for, and that is Apocalypse Keys. Apocalypse Keys is a game about monsters bound by fate, love, and power. The doomsday clock is ticking down and emotions run high as your team of monstrous division agents struggle to find the keys before the villainous harbingers unlock the doors of power and bring about the apocalypse. You alone are capable of stopping this, but you must fight against your urges and resist becoming a monster yourself. The game is a love letter to stories like Hellboy, the SCP, Torchwood. It is about monsters trying to save the world and trying not to end it by their own actions. It's big, it's messy, it's dramatic, it's scary, it's sad, it's beautiful. I love this game. I think you're going to love the game that we played. You can find more information about Apocalypse Keys in the show notes. Before we dive in, a quick thank you to our newest Patreon backer, Joe Montando. Thank you so much for your support of the show. It means a lot to us. Patreon backers get access to bonus audio like Party of 1+1, which is our spotlight series on sequels and returning games, and Batman Bump in the Night, which is our monthly Batman fan fiction series. You can find more information about the Patreon at patreon.com/JeffStormer. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I'm excited is not the word to use. I'm sitting down with Kieron Gillen. Kieron, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
It's really nice to be here. Excited isn't the word. It could mean like, upset, fearful, or dreading this.
Dreading. Yeah, I realized I didn't finish the sentence before I said that and was like, oh, nope, now I get roasted. Like, you hit that, you get halfway through a sentence and you're like, yep, it's coming. There's no way to steer around it now. No, I appreciate you calling me on it. It keeps me honest. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. This is going to be great.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Like, it's a great game. It's a great game. I've got a 3-year-old, so I'm always looking for any chance to play. So this is all good stuff.
I mean, that's why the podcast is run for 10 years, is that, like, I have so many games that I'm always looking for an excuse to play with people that, like, it has kept me very busy for... Oh, the decade is coming up closely, and that number keeps becoming realer and realer.
Oh, wow.
But before we spiral, why don't you take a moment and let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on you might want them to know about?
I'm Kieron Gillen. I mainly write comics. That's my main job. So, like, if you have any interest in comics, my main ones I'm doing at the moment is called The Power Fantasy, which is a book from Image Comics with Casper Wingard. It's about, basically, if you and your 5 messy mates had to share a flat, and if you had an argument, the world ends. It's basically about people with the powers of superpowers, literally nuclear superpowers. Like, one trades out, which is like dirt cheap. People seem to like it a lot, and that's the main thing. Also, a book called We Call Them Giants. Had just come out, OGN, about a sad girl at the end of the world who meets something, which is good. And of course, I'm blogging about RPGs again. A site called Old Men Running the World in a Deus Ex joke for fun. So, like, all my other kind of small indie game stuff I'm doing, I sort of mentioned there. So pop in there, see what we're up to.
I just read your essay about games are about the duality of games, and like obviously I read it not during work hours, but if I did read it during work hours, it did provide a wonderful several-hour distraction during work hours.
Also, it's fun to do it again. Like, also, me and Jim, are old games journalists, so let's just stop blogging for fun again. You know, have some thoughts.
Sure,
and
totally.
Public, just, you know, because it's like a lightsaber. You know what I mean? Blogging is this ancient weapon of a more civilized age. So now we're doing it. Yeah.
I'm so excited to see people like blogging again and like writing out thoughts in details. I have been trying to like force myself to do that. You know, I've gotten so, and I think a lot of us got so comfortable with the Twitter thread as like long form explanation that like really sitting down and going like, if I'm going to put all of my thoughts into one place, like once I've gotten back into the practice, it really just is so gratifying to look at a piece and go like, this is it. This is the thoughts. This is everything I have to say. And no one is going to pop up in my mentions in 5 minutes and deliver the worst interpretation of what I am trying to express. And that's a wonderful feeling.
It is exciting. We tried to turn comments off, then we realised we couldn't do it properly, so we didn't. But like, it's not like anyone comments regularly now anyway, which is nice. It's just fun.
It is nice. It is nice. It gives us the sense of like you're putting it out there. It's out there in the world. It's very, very gratifying. And it's a good blog. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Today we are playing a game that is very special to me. It's a game we've played before on the show. It is one of my actual favorite games in the world. We are playing Apocalypse Keys. This is a game about monsters stopping the apocalypse and maybe becoming the apocalypse themselves. It is obviously very inspired by works like Hellboy and that sort of like monster world experience. But I'm going to throw this to you and say, like, what is it about the game that you like? What is it that you're excited about? What are you bringing to the table today?
I mean, I played it. Actually, I wrote a stretch goal for it. Ray asked me to do that, which was a great joy. I did this sort of it's a deconstructed adventure. I really am into. It feels like a love song of Ray. Like, I really like all of Ray's design, but this feels like a kind of love song to his journey through all of this. You know,
It's so. This is genuinely like having played and read a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games and a lot of games period. Like, you're so right. There is so much love in Ray's work, and this game in particular. Like, I was following this game from when it was like a Google Doc that Ray would talk about periodically of just like, this is the game I'm working on. And you could feel even then you could feel the vulnerability. You could feel the love. You could feel the almost glee at like the getting into the muck of it all, and just every individual piece of it kind of sings with that energy.
Yeah, it's like Maximalist. Is this kind of almost like it's that kind of I've loved all these games. It's like it was always called Apocalypse Kisses, wasn't it? That was one of the names they were talking about, and it was and it's that like it's the Monster Hearts in there, you know, and it's the X-Men, it's Hellboy, it's all these kind of really very big world-ending emotions. It's berserk. I love it.
I really love it, and the specific thing that I love, and it's worth calling out that we're not engaging with it today, so this is just me gushing about a thing that I love with all of my heart. The last playbook, the Last of the Lost, I forget the Superman adjacent playbook that I know that Ray wrote just as a like, the last as this is my love letter to Superman and Martian Manhunter in this very specific context. As somebody that has built a lot of his life on loving Superman and the concepts of that character, like it is one of the greatest encapsulations of like the heart and the tragedy at the core of that I've ever experienced.
Yeah. That's the only one I've played. I've only played Monster Hearts. Sorry, not Monster Hearts. So I was thinking about Monster Hearts earlier, so Monster Hearts is on my brain. I only played Apocalypse Keys once, and that's exactly the class I played, the last. So like I did my own kind of very weird Superman riff. And in fact, the idea I like so much, it's turning up in the Power Fantasy. There's a minor character called the Signal. I'm going to say here because it's so to the side. The Signal's idea is kind of the idea. It's literally a signal from a dying world. So it's like Superman as a radio wave, which is kind of a little bit riffing on Blue Superman back from the 90s. Sure. But it's like, oh no, the signal's dying and it's breaking apart. This is the Monster Hearts character version, I stress. So it's this kind of, it arrives, it's got a very interesting weird visual, which is kind of like, it's like the Voyager, the people on the Voyager symbol, but it flashed between those two genders, so it's like a bi-gendered creature, and it's crackling, it's falling apart, and it's arrived on Earth, and the signal is not being transmitted anymore, so it's a living signal from a dead world. As like they sent it out as a SOS, and it's not there anymore. So yeah, it was so fun. It was so fun.
That's so fun. That's such a good iteration on that concept, and also all of my love to weird blue Superman for the rest of my days. Just you love a weird pivot 70 years into a character that doesn't work, but like it's just I respect the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. We're just doing it now, and it's fine. It's like good work,
exactly.
Brad.
So you've got some notes on a character. I have also written some notes on a character. We're gonna kind of Watson and Holmes our way through this mystery a little bit. So talk to me about the playbook that you're using and the notes that you've got so far.
Okay, I'm playing the Summoned. The Summoned is let's not dance around the issue. It's the Hellboy archetype.
Yeah.
It's someone who has come from another world, probably hell, and is basically the embodiment of an awful prophecy that they are trying to fight against. They're desperate for love, but kind of like also very blunt and trying to turn it away. They've got, most of all, they're neighbouring on this awful prophecy that they'll fundamentally end the world, and that's their vibe. And I just had the idea. I mean, it's just basically Tinkerbell. It's the idea I've got. Sure. It's the idea of Dorothy. It's not Dorothy. What's Tinkerbell's woman called?
Peter Pan.
Sorry, the woman, the girl who gets dragged.
Oh, Wendy.
Like, it's Wendy. So, her quote-unquote Wendy summoned her to Earth.
That's really fucking good is the thing.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not sure how small I want her. I'm imagining her small, broken wings. Like she's much smaller than she should be, but she's incredibly strong. And this is like a hellish kind of fey dimension. And kind of the awful prophecy is to kind of like everyone's going to fall to sleep and all the dreams of, obviously forever, everyone's going to, it's going to be an awful kind of Lovecraftian dream hell. That's kind of what she's going to turn people into. And that's the destiny she's trying to escape.
That's great. Here's the thing. Knowing what I've got sketched out, there's this could not have worked out better.
Brilliant.
I love this so much. So as you kind of make some notes note down your moves and stuff, I'll talk about the character that I've kind of scripted out, which is I'm choosing the Hungry, and the 2-word phrase that I threw at you was an ideas vampire. And I am specifically Dr. Quixotic. Here's the little bio that I've written, is that Quentin Kowalski was not the lead scientist involved in Operation Rewrite and Revise. He was barely a step above an intern, but he was in the room for the wartime operation to punch a hole in reality and rewrite the cosmos. He was there when 27 scientists punched a hole in reality and saw the divine spark of creation and was consumed with an overwhelming desire to create, to invent, to change the world. The problem is he was not creative enough to have the ability to act on that desire, so he ended up doing the next best thing, which is he reached his consciousness out of his body, ripped the ideas out of the other scientists in the rooms, and harvested their minds, becoming sort of an ultimate ideas man, vampire, harvester of inspiration and memory and dreams, to sort of fuel his own scientific ambitions.
I love it. I played I did a character called Mr. Sinister for X-Men. My kind of riff on him was very like that. I said, oh no, I'm an idea. I'm just going to take ideas and use them, which is beautiful. I love that shit. Sorry, I love that stuff. Yeah.
That's very much on my mind as I'm sitting with this character of this is also this was a character that I played in a home game with J Dragon and some other folks of and the phrasing that I gave was this is my fuck Reed Richards forever character. This is my
great, love it.
So that's where my brain is at as I'm creating this horrible Cold War vampire. So here's where we are at as we kind of sit. Actually, let's talk through our bonds first, because we have some bonds with each other, and I think that'll kind of allow us to ground ourselves a little bit in the interactions that we've had. And then we'll kind of kick into the mystery proper.
Great.
So I'm looking at and I'm playing the Hungry playbook. I should have specified. I'm playing the Hungry playbook, and the bonds that I have are I think what we'll do is choose one of the 2 bonds on the sheet and then assign it to the other player.
Great.
So do I think it's more fun for your heart wishes to consume me and we bring out the worst in each other, or for you to remember what I was like? With your character in particular, it feels really juicy to remember, since it's been something like 100 or 80 years since Doc has been has been not a monster. I think it's really compelling for you to have had some kind of dream interaction before that happened.
Yeah, maybe when you were a little boy.
Yeah.
I was some kind of, I took you to the fairy realm or something in dreams. Yeah. That's fun.
That feels really great. And that also explains why I'm tempted to give in to what the darkness demands, which is to corrupt the beautiful and to consume what lies beyond Doom's door is I saw the Dreamland, I saw Fairyland, I saw all of these things that were horrifying and monstrous, but also captivating and beautiful. And it was the thing that made Quentin want to be a scientist, a like world-changing person, was to make this dream place real. And it has consumed him in the most literal way possible.
I mean, it's like basically you're one of the Lost Boys gone bad. As in,
that feels great.
Yeah.
That's such good coloring on this character.
It's Lost Boys meets Lost Boys.
It really is. Anyway. It really is. Yep, we got there. So which of your bonds do you want for me to ask me?
Right, there's two of them which are possible. You were there when I was summoned. What makes you afraid of me? Or why can't you tell me that you love me? And they're both pretty meaty.
They're both pretty meaty. I think I can't tell you that I love you because that's a really good question. Let me sit with this. I think my brain immediately jumps to the idea that you know what it is? I feel like I haven't earned it. And there's this clawing in the back of my brain that you showed me the world that could be when I was a kid, and I have spent my entire grown life chasing that sort of idea. And I haven't made that world a reality yet, so I don't feel like I can fully show myself to you.
Right.
All right. Is there any other choices that we need to make, or do we think we want to jump right into the mystery?
I feel. Is it worth you knowing? Actually, it's probably worth knowing what the. I can just explain the rest on the way. I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah. We can talk through the choices that we made. Actually, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. The powers of darkness. I was look, small broken fairy wings.
Yep.
I explained the powers of darkness. We go with colossal strength, as there's something really interesting about being so small and able to bash
and
stuff.
So strong. Yeah.
And shadow control, which is more just the kind of in my head, it's the creepy version of fairy magic. That
feels great.
Yeah,
that feels really great. So the powers that I've chosen are mystical power that I stole from my victims, of quite literally ripping ideas and blueprints and secrets and inspirations out of people's brains, and then a haunting aura. The only way that I can describe it, based on the touchstones that are in my head, is imagine the Hans Zimmer Oppenheimer soundtrack is just playing at all times, and you just hear that whom, you just feel that unnerving presence of oh, I think that this guy might be this guy might doom the world at any given moment. It's just that energy that is just deeply unnerving.
Yeah. I like that. My image of the soundtrack of my Tinker, I'm still calling her at the moment. It's the minor key Disney soundtrack. Played on very minimalistic on a broken piano with awful echo.
100%.
Yeah, it's that
100%. That's fantastic. And so we can, I think, jump into the mystery and kind of introduce choices as they come up. But
cool.
We find ourselves on an airplane headed towards Middle America. The two of us are seated on this airplane as Division agent, Division being the organization that is in charge of rounding up monsters and using them to hunt other monsters to prevent the apocalypse by closing the doors of power that will open to the apocalypse. We are en route to a small town in Kansas, and we have been given by Agent Adomian, who is the detail that I have for him is that he's too young to be in the senior position that he's in, and it's a little bit annoying. The notice that we have been given is as follows. Omen-class monsters, you are to investigate the recent murder of Chamber of Commerce President Rufus Alizraki in the town of Pequeño, Kansas. Circumstances of the murder suggest possible involvement by a Harbinger-class monster codenamed Terry. Classification non-entity. Potentially psychic, phantasmagoric, or theoretical, all unconfirmed. Or the existence of a possible door of power. You are tasked to investigate the murder, determine motive, possible influence, and if Terry is confirmed influence, identify who would benefit from framing him or exploiting his abilities to potentially open a door. If he is confirmed guilty, he is assumed to have taken Harbinger status and act accordingly. Your contact will be waiting for you with further details. I will drop all of this in the chat. But note, being a high-profile killing of a beloved community member in which the chief suspect is another beloved community member, expect resistance from said community and act accordingly with caution. So as we are handed this by this agent, like what is going on in Tink's mind? Like what's the moment as we approach? What is going on in each of our characters' brains?
I was like, mainly I felt partially I'm annoyed. I said the guy's too young. He's barely out of, in my head is Forever Neverland is where I'm from.
Yep.
It's literally a realm of complete annihilation. Forever Never is my concept. And so he's barely old enough himself. Just tilting her head kind of like and playing with her, because there's sort of lightness to her. There's a fractured, awful energy in that kind of way. And that, oh, well, this is what I'm doing today then. In that kind of a big sort of sigh. Murder.
I think I'm taking 2 darkness tokens immediately, because I am reacting to all of this with pettiness of, I think that, like, Doc has spent almost this entire flight, like, the second that Adomian sits down in front of us, starts peppering him with, like, cred check questions of just, like, where'd you go to school? What's your GPA? Fraternity? Like, is just, like, fully, like, with all of the unearned confidence of a guy who lucked into his scientific position, is, like, cred checking the hell out of this junior agent, one question at a time. Like, and has, like, glanced at the dossier that we were given and then kind of thrown it aside fully in favor of just pestering this kid, for lack of a better way to put it, for the sake of his own ego.
That's funny.
And I think, like, as we approach,
I'd just say on the way, I imagine me sitting there being quite sad. I'm going to take 2 darkness tokens as well, for the sake of, I get them when I feel unloved and abandoned. The fact you're paying all this attention to it,
sure.
Like, so I'm sitting here, kind of like not even pretending to watch like Disney movies in the back of the TV, like very not liking them in any way. They're very inaccurate. And just say, sure. Pay attention. I'm slightly pouting in this kind of like fairy, like murderous fairy like way. So that's good.
And I do think leaning into that, like, Quixotic has not looked in your direction once, because, like, he has an opportunity to feel big, and he's clutching it with all that he's got. Eventually we get over the drop site. Of course we're not landing. Of course we are dropping from the sky. They throw open the door of the airplane. I think that we strap the idea that they have, like, a tiny fairy-sized parachute, extremely funny. They strap parachutes onto us and goggles, and they just kind of say, like, you're gonna jump in 10 seconds. And we see the planes open up to, like, a small town space, and boom, into the sky we go. We touch down moments later on, like a small town country 2-lane highway road, coming up on a very large, steep, slight uphill curve. Waiting for us is like a 21-year-old kind of bookish girl, and the detail about her is, like, she her head is facing straight down at the floor, and when we land, she tilts back, and her head tilts far too far back, and you start to notice the, like, bluish skin of her neck and the sunken color of her eyes. This is our contact. This is Larsa Magnata, the ghost that has haunted this town for the last 75 years.
Brilliant. Sort of I can imagine me like I'm gonna call it Link, weirdly, which of course is just Zelda. But the like Link is just sort of trying to stretch her neck back in this kind of like no, these don't work. So, hello. What? How lovely to see you here. You've been here a long. You're dead, aren't you?
Very astute. I appreciate somebody with an eye for detail.
Thank you.
After all, I am or was a journalist in my, well, I'd say previous life, but I guess I've only had the one.
A journalist. Interesting.
I died here about 75 years ago, right here on Dead Man's Curve. Every small town's got one. And I have been watching this place ever since then. My unfinished business of solving my own murder has gone largely unnoticed by a small town that was quick to move on after unseemly business around a young person's death.
That's awful. I'm so sorry for you. That's a terrible thing to have to face.
Countering that, Doc just goes like, Case, can we explain what we're here for?
I'm holding the ghost's hand as tightly as I can whilst it's going. It's like, okay, speak to the doctor, but I'm going to give you comfort too.
And she's like, I appreciate what you're doing here. I recognize the doctor's urgency and whatever your superiors have ordered here, but like nobody ever takes time to comfort the ghost, and that's a nice touch. And she kind of like stretches her shoulders, and in doing so, her neck flops to the left and to the right, and she kind of settles in. So here's the situation. About 2 months ago, Terry showed up. Terry is a beloved member of the community. He eats the same order of pancakes every day from Old Gil's Tavern. He's friends with just about everybody. Everybody's got their story of the time Terry helped them out in one way or another. And everything seemed to be going great until about 24 hours ago, evidence came out that Terry had choked to death the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Terry? What evidence?
Well, signs of struggle around Rufus's apartment, fingerprints and handprints and bruising around his neck that indicated that Terry choked him to death with his own 2 hands. Now, here's what's interesting about that. Terry doesn't exist. There is no psychic residue. There is no ghost signature. There's no physical evidence of Terry of any kind. As far as I or Division can tell, Terry is an imaginary friend to this entire town. They have all just collectively agreed that he was real, acknowledged his daily routine, and if you ask any single person in town, they would tell you exactly where he is at any given moment. All of which raises a very key question. How does a man who doesn't exist choke someone to death?
They say that ideas are dangerous things. And I think this is proof of it. But most interesting.
This is the first time. This is the first time that Doc drops the gimmick and laughs a little bit and is like, "You're not wrong." So where's he at? Right now? And she like gesture. She kind of like starts to kind of like gesture to walk. As you walk along the road, you kind of see the town fading in and out as you sort of like spectrally ghost step from place to place. Terry is currently located behind a cell at the local jailhouse. You can see there's a protest outside swearing his innocence. She kind of like also gestures up. You can see that his office has been closed off and is sort of taped up. And yeah, that's about where we're at. What questions can I answer for you?
I'm interested. Like, this is very interesting. Have you, she sort of rolls the R and then starts to get addicted to the sound of the R. I imagine that just stretching on a bit before it clicks back in. I know. How, if everybody knows where they were, does everyone in town knows Terry did the murder then? Is that it?
Well, that's the interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are shocked. They didn't think that Terry had it in him. There are people that are horrified. They're angry that they opened their homes to someone that turned out to be a murderer.
Mm.
There's people that swear there has to be an explanation. Either Rufus deserved it or Terry's being framed. But the 2 things that stand out are nobody doubts that it happened. And there seems to be physical proof, which has never happened before in the 2 months that, and she kind of gives very like dramatic air quotes, Terry has existed.
That's interesting. And my second question, and this is probably as important, why Terry?
That is where you come in. We're not sure. Me, your superiors, we don't know why Terry has been set up. We don't know why Terry is here. We don't know what has prompted Terry. There's nothing quite in our records like Terry.
Ah.
If Terry had gone on to just be a friendly member of the community, Division probably would have just let him live. But the second that he has killed someone, supposedly, allegedly, we need you to investigate, get answers, and if Terry has proven to be a murderer, deal with it.
I understand all that, you big silly. Slaps. Why is he called Terry? Why Terry? Terry isn't.
And she pauses for a second and goes, "Oh, you mean why Terry?" Said that was his name.
Well, I think we should go to the scene of the murder, Doctor.
Doc kind of stands back. Is like, well, it's the most logical place to check is to figure out what Terry was doing there. And Doc is it's not a grin per se, but it is like a wide-eyed sort of like condescending indulgence, and like, well, if Terry was last at there, then we should investigate what Terry was up to. Fantastic. Let's go.
I blank it entirely, by the way. I think that's the energy here. Is no matter how much you look down. In fact, it's very easy to look down on Link, but like no matter how much you look down, she's utterly oblivious to that.
Love this. This. This is a very good dynamic between these two, and I love it a lot.
Yeah.
So we go to the offices of Chamber of Commerce President Rufus Alizraki. Rufus, the office obviously taped off by police tape. There's obviously, and I guess my first question, and I think like Doc is letting Link take the lead here. Are we going immediately? Are we waiting till the cover of Nightfall? What's the gameplay here?
Good question. I think sorry, I've realised that tends to be this character to push it. I've immediately gone through a slightly silly idea in my head. It's like, no. It's a horror game. We got to keep the element of that.
I mean, slightly. I mean, silly is what makes the horror really hit. Admittedly.
Yeah, it's almost like I got the image of them being sort of like, no, we go in disguise, of course, which of course is a ludicrous visual idea. But I think actually if I was going to frame the scene, the way I would frame is, we come in the window at night because we're Peter Panning it. Of course we come in at night. All adventures happen at night. The day is the time for not adventures. When adventures happen during the day, we call it the end of the world.
That's great. And I do think there's a moment where Doc goes, well, we do work in the end of the world, but we'll... And, I'm taking 2 more tokens here because I think Doc is feeling a yearning for what he cannot have as he mutters like, but we should go at night and it should be an adventure. We should... It's that I can't tell you how much I love you and how much I need your approval, is this sense of like, I will indulge myself and try to be a lost boy again.
Yes, and I sort of tweak your cheek, not that you have a cheek because you've got a globe, but that kind of. I pat the closest to the cheek I can get in that way. Attaboy, I say gleefully.
So we arrive it's dead of night. There is a police car outside and 2 officers sleeping in the driver and passenger seat. And awkwardly climbing behind Link is Doc. We both climb in the window, and the office is obviously torn to shreds. Like beyond there's an investigation. There's clearly the sign of like a knockdown, drag out brawl. There are papers scattered around. There are broken pieces of broken glass and little broken tchotchkes on the desk, a smashed up laptop. It is ugly in here. And I think the thing that is immediately apparent to you is there are a tremendous amount of documents about the city itself. The city planning docs and schedules and maps. And it goes seemingly notably far beyond what even a member of the Chamber of Commerce might have. Like, it is clear that this is the space of someone that has been actively keeping tabs on the movers and players throughout this small town. So I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you a 2-part question. What of those things are you investigating? And what I'll ask you first, like, what does the investigation look like from here?
Yeah, I think it's like this paper looks like the sort of thing that Doc does. Like, I'm pretty sure Doc reads a lot of papers. So it's almost like
he does. In that, like, he very makes a big deal of reading like scientific white papers and things. Like, prints them out and holds the papers in front of him. Like, big posturing energy.
Yeah. I've only ever read bedtime stories, and of course, bedtime stories where I come from are about the end of all reality, as in the time for sleep, the time for the end. They're not very happy, so it kind of made me lose the habit. Doc, so basically, I imagine what I'm interested in is that kind of okay, what's it saying about the town? If it's all the residents, does it include Terry? That's the kind of more logical question my character's actually thinking, but she probably won't express it in a more splintered way. But I've also got a magical idea of a way to use her abilities, which might get something. Because
hit me.
Like, I've got shadow magic, and of course I've got the image. Of course, this person doesn't exist, and it's like, does he cast a shadow?
That's good. That's good. That's a really good question.
So I kind of summon this kind of like, it's almost like a magical light in the middle of the room, and it starts casting shadows of like the history there, as in like, well, so I've got the image on the walls like we've seen the fight. So and obviously it's going to be distorted because it's the way shadows work in this room where it's full of stuff. So it's at night, it's this really creepy thing. Is, can I actually find some trace using the awful shadow magic that I've summoned?
So I think what we're doing here is we're both grasping for keys in very different ways. I think the Doc is like poring over papers. So how this is going to work is we are going to spend a number of darkness tokens. We're going to declare that, and then we're going to roll. Our goal is to get to an 8 to 10. If we roll an 11 plus, something bad happens. If we roll a 7 or minus, something worse happens.
Yep, that's true.
I love it, which is like genuinely mechanically, the addition of don't do too well or the monster comes out very good.
Yeah. Also, it's complete genre. It's a really great understanding of doing too well is as bad as not doing anything at all.
That is a 6. I'm spending 3 tokens, so that is a 9. That is exactly in the sweet spot.
That's great. Do you spend tokens before or after rolling it? I can't remember.
I think it's before.
Yeah, cool. No, I did as well, so my total's 10. Yeah. I spent all my tokens, so I'm down to 0 tokens.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Great. So we get 2 keys immediately. I should specify this is a complexity 2, so we're going to want to assemble. And so our final total will be subtracted by 2, which means that if we get like 4 or so more keys, we're in a really powerful position. And then we start to risk pushing too far on the solution of the mystery.
Hey.
Great. Let me look at my list of keys here. So, in fact, one of the keys that I've specifically written down that feels right here is I can't believe that you used shadow magic in that way, because the key that I wrote down was shadows without bodies going about their daily business.
Hooray. We're simpatico here. This is good stuff.
When I said that, like, I could not believe how well you linked in the idea of like dealing with an imaginary figure and like who is impacting the world in physical ways, I was like, this is synchronicity in a nutshell.
That's nice. Yeah.
And as for I'm gonna grab one of my less arcane keys here and throw in the key of the Shady Lady Lakes development deal.
Great.
There is evidence of a development deal out in the swamps just outside of town for Shady Lady Lakes, which is like a high-end development community. And there's like extensive records on this, and it includes some evidence that perhaps Rufus was taking bribes. Like there are notes, like there's enough paperwork here to indicate that like Rufus had a very vested interest in this development happening.
All right, nice.
We have also at the same time, talk to me about like how you envision the key of shadows without bodies taking shape as you cast this shadow magic. Is it the fight? Is it something else? Like, what are we experiencing?
No, I think the way you said that clue, the way I got it is, so yeah, I'm seeing the fight, but I'm actually seeing it's more shadows than I'm expecting.
You know what I mean?
That's
like, good.
Like, yeah. This is it, but there's more shadows cast. And I imagine like the light sort of spilling out. I think it's going to come from my eyes. I think that's the thing. So it's like I become like this awful like Halloween lantern in a fairy face.
Yeah.
Like this little. I look like a candle wick. That's the kind of. Imagine my hair moving up with this awful like kind of beyond understanding. And so we're getting these shadows of the fight and the murder, but then you get like just people doing filing beside it. And as I turn around, you get it spraying across the windows out into the street, and you kind of get these long kind of shadows of people just walking down. And then I feel the energy get too much, and I have to sort of collapse and drop, as in the light was showing more than I wanted to see at that particular moment, and I'm sort of breathing heavily. And I made you think. My immediate thought is like, I don't think Terry's the only imaginary person here.
So, this is not one person, but a gang. We are looking at some kind of gang, or dare I say, and now the big smile with too many teeth starts to rear across his face, or some kind of an army.
They just slap the arm. You bad boy. You bad boy, Doc. I think so. But I always think like, I remember one of the things that my previous. That's the only way my previous. She's talking about her Peter Pan.
Yep.
My previous. All people are imaginary, if you think about it in the right way. And then he normally killed them. Oh, he was a bad boy too.
And he just kind of nods like that tracks. That tracks. You certainly have a type when it comes to the people that you take under your. And he kind of stops himself from saying wings, but like doesn't like stops himself from saying wings, but doesn't stop himself from saying the rest of the sentence. I'm
gonna stop. I just look. And then I actually, this is, I think, if you're watching this on TV, this is the moment, especially if you've just had the Link's head on fire moment, I explode and just slam you hard against the wall. Like, and it's a weird look to sort of see. It's like, don't say that. My wings are fine. And you get the impression that since I pushed you hard into the wall, you'll see my fingers are probably like, what are you wearing? Is anything hard on you?
Oh, definitely. Like, I think it's like a lab coat and dress shirt. Like, it is very much the prompt that I picked was, things that represent my struggle to be human. So like, I am wearing a tattered bottom, like a lab coat with the bottom of it burnt and torn, and a dress shirt, and like your claws probably tear through those.
I don't have claws. That's the thing but I just go straight through it. As in, like, I took a handful of it, and it's like paper in my fingers, and I'm not even trying. That's the kind of, please don't say that. It's rude. I do not like rudeness. That's me for listeners, that's me overreacting with violence, which is one of my things.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm going to say take 3, if not 4 tokens for that, because that felt good.
I was leaning 3 because it's that kind of like
3 feels good.
If I actually messed you up, it would be 4.
Yeah. I'm gonna respond in kind and also collect some tokens. And this is why you asked me before we recorded, you were like, what you had sent me the 2 options of playbooks you were looking at, and like you were like, what options do you think would play off of that? And I looked at the Hungry specifically for this exact moment. I'm gonna respond to your anger by asking you to give in to your hunger. And I think what that looks like is stunned for a second and is genuinely hurt that he hurt you, but then kind of like narrows his eyes and is like, you seem like you want to let some steam out, and I'm sorry, and I apologize. I touched a sore spot, but if you need to blow off some steam, why don't we go poke around and see if there's somebody hanging around that shouldn't be? Big smile.
Bad guys, I say. Suddenly.
Let's go find some bad guys.
They are probably rude as well. Thank you. You're always thinking about the best of me, Doc. Go, pause. Listeners, I just say, I find this character I'm playing, Link, really disturbing. It's like, I'm fascinated by this character, but I'm very disturbed by it.
Doc falls into the exact kind of guy that I hate, and I'm loving playing this with every fiber of my being.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. So where do we think we've got a few locations that we can go poke around and see if we can find some imaginary, people? We've got, the diner that Terry hung out at every day, Old Gill's Tavern, open 24/7, home to the best breakfast in town. Obviously there is the Shady Lady Lakes, the development that, Rufus was working with a developer on. There is obviously the actual prison itself, if we want to go maybe see what's going on with Terry. Or we could stop by the division regional office and see if they have any information.
So my brain immediately went, and this is literally no use for this adventure, is that we should ask people where the people don't go in this town. Because that's where that's one of those kind of inverted things, which of course is...
That actually is... This is the joy of this game, is that, like, as Keeper, I wrote the scenario, I wrote, like, the problem, and then was just like, I don't know, we'll figure out the details, and so that is such an interesting and fun solution that, like, I think we've got to go for it.
Okay, yeah. If not, the closest to that would actually go into the building estate, because that's, people aren't there yet, by definition. But yeah. So I'm fine with either one, depending what you think is actually the most interesting set piece.
I think that we use one to head to the other. Of like, I think there is, because I want the interaction between Link and like a random person in town. I think that there's a joyful opportunity in seeing what this character does when interacting with like a normal person, and like I'm excited about that. So I want to see that interaction, and then I think it'll probably point us towards the development, because like you said, there's nobody living there yet.
Great.
The person that we run into is, I've got a list of persons of interest. Let me look at my lineup. Here we go. The person that we run into is like at this hour of night. If it's late, probably most of the only people that are out. The streets are fairly empty. This is a very small, quiet town, but the place where there are people is out, not in the jailhouse, but outside of it, where a small group has set up like a protest swearing Terry's innocence. And there is like an older woman there, very gray hair, short, holding a sign, like sitting next to like a jumbo pot of coffee, just like clearly watching over the encampment, and sort of a like late night watchkeeper vibe as everyone is sort of resting and recovering. And she's just kind of sitting and sighing, and I think that she sees Link, pours coffee into a little paper cup, takes a swig of it, and it's like, I know I'm tired, but I don't think I'm that tired.
If you're also, you're not drunk. If I would be a pink elephant if you were drunk. I'm just, I did actually once play an absinthe fairy. That was a very difficult time for everybody.
She laughs immediately with the kind of laugh of, I've had the longest day of my life and somebody is showing me necessary kindness. I think that this is immediately revealing your heart to somebody as we have this moment.
Yeah, this is actually nice. Let's I was looking at that movie and thinking, when's a good chance to do it? Okay, I'm going to spend a couple of tokens, taking me down to 1, and let's see what happens. I'm rolling well. 8 goes to 9, which is a full success. Wow, again.
On an 8 to 10, their heart reaches yours. You can choose one. Do you grow closer? Do you soothe? Do you clear a condition? Do you mark XP? Or do you clear a mark of ruin?
I think... Oh, that's good. Can I just get a bond to them, actually?
I think that sounds great.
Yeah. That kind of would genuinely hit it off. And I say...
Yeah. Does Link drink coffee? I think that she offers you a coffee.
I think I definitely have it's enormous for me, obviously.
For sure.
It's that kind of, thank you, yes. I would love a coffee. I wasn't normally allowed coffee. Coffee keeps you awake, and you have to sleep. That's the problem. You have to sleep. That's where I'm from. My previous said that coffee was the enemy of all that was good. But of course, when he said good, he meant bad. Things are complicated, all words.
Things are complicated here too. It seems like the more things change, the more things seem the same. And she kind of gestures towards the prison. A nice, friendly guy is in jail, and I'm pretty sure, and I just don't think that he could have done the thing that he did. It just doesn't make any sense.
Why do you think that? I mean, like, people surprise people.
People surprise people, but Terry was, I mean, we only knew him for a few months, but Terry was unsurprising. He had his routine. He knew You knew where he would be any given day of the week, and I just don't see him being somebody that would have this in his heart. It feels a lot like if he got pushed to this, there has to be more to the story.
There usually is. That's what to be continued means. That
is what to be continued. I'm grabbing 2 tokens here, just to establish that, like, truly, this really sweet conversation, Doc is sitting, like, is just kind of is sort of like not even sitting, standing, dead silent, hands in his pockets, fully not making an introduction, and is just like watching this moment of human connection, and is just kind of crushed about it.
That is great. I was like, and especially I'm not even paying attention. It's so awful that I hate being ignored, but like I still treat people like this. But I am that kind of. I think the first sort of. There's actually a half moment when I look at the coffee, the steam. Hey, look, I'm letting off steam, Doc, pointing at the steam of the coffee, and then turn back. It's like, who would this Rufus president person? Does anyone else want him dead? Except for all the people where I'm from. Everyone where I'm from wants him dead. But apart from those people, anyone you know.
Where you're from sounds terrifying.
It is.
I mean, he had gripes, but I don't know that anybody would have wanted him dead. I mean, he certainly wasn't the most popular. I don't think anybody that has that kind of money and influence is likely to make friends. I think that this is probably, I'm going to say, to further answer this question, I think I'm going to have you grasp at a key.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I was obviously using the bomb to make her do some, to reveal more than she should.
Yeah. And I think that the thing that she let slip, and this is going to, I think, allow you to open up a key, is that, like, he was it was not unknown that he was very good friends with Ryan Tobias, who was the, like, land developer developing Shady Lady Lakes. He also had a lot of enemies, notably Miss Cochran, the math magician who owned the bookmobile. He was regularly telling her that she couldn't park the bookmobile in certain specific places. It was very clear that if you had money, you played by a different set of rules for him. And it is unclear the extent to which he acted on that idea.
Right.
And if you want to grasp at a key with any of that knowledge, you can roll for it.
Yeah, I'm going to spend my remaining darkness to get a +1. Oh, double 6 to 13. Hooray.
Okay, great. Something has gone wrong. I know what it is. This is a key. This is the key. Where is it? This is Miss Cochran's magical story time, which is actually magical. The key is Mrs. Cochran's magical story time, which is actually magical. She is the owner of the bookmobile. She runs a weekly story time event. But I think and I think it's got to be to both of us, the name Miss Cochran jumps out like fireworks. Because Miss Cochran is X Division.
Ooh.
Miss Cochran, the math magician, owner of the bookmobile, is specifically the warlock to an ancient eldritch being, immense, powerful, and terrifying, who I'm going to ask you, what was the job that we worked together on that ended with her disappearing in as explosive a way as possible?
It was a music festival that went terribly, terribly wrong.
Sure.
It was a kind of like, it was someone's trying to revive a musical scene of 60s acid rock, but there was mainly a lot of acid, literal acid in terms of like melting hands and bodies and similar things. It was an awful kind of, it was called The Jam. This kind of musical monster, The Jam, which kind of was made of like, wild notes, terrible semi-quavers, moving across the field, eating, consuming, like this kind of Lovecraftian beast. It was all downhill from there.
Yeah. And I think that, like, in this battle specifically, there were several human agents, and we had the jam pretty well under control. I think, like, we were ready to put it away when, due to an eldritch ritual by Miss Cochran, Agent Cochran at the time, she unleashed the full acidic power of the jam, melting the human agents, sending us scattering, and then just disappeared into the ether. She went completely off the grid, and it seems like she has made a pretty comfortable life running a small town bookmobile, while she may or may not still be conducting eldritch magic on the side.
Yeah, this honestly feels like the Apocalypse Keys equivalent of going to set up a cupcake shop somewhere in a small in a Hallmark
very
movie.
Much exactly the vibe. Very, very. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
And I think let me look at my moves here, because I feel like Doc is not going to react well to hearing this.
Yeah.
I truly think Doc is, this is what it is. Yep, this is what it is. Doc is going to unleash the dark here. I'm going to spend 2 tokens, and I'm going to roll to unleash the dark, as Doc is, like, I think, steps up, and we feel that aura. We feel like all of reality kind of, like, zooming in on Doc as he, like, approaches, what did I say her name? As he approaches Heather, who is the head of the protests. He approaches Heather, and he's just looming larger. He's like, tell me everything about where she is, what she does, and what she has been up to. And this is oh boy, that's a 13. That's not what we want to see.
Don't explode my friend.
Your control falters and you go too far. I'm gonna get what I want from them. Oh, I gotta ask you. Like, I'm gonna throw this to you. I think I get what I want from them and get, like, a concrete picture of where she is, where she'll be at this hour, like what the bookmobile looks like. Like, I've pulled that information out, but what is the consequence of that?
I think you pulled a lot of stuff out on the way. It's the equivalent of, like, the psychic debris dropping upon the floor. So now she's forgotten, like, every second day going back 10 years. So she remembers when she doesn't remember Wednesday, she doesn't remember Monday, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And she, that's brutal. That's rough.
Horrible.
And I think, like, at that moment, she feels it, and she almost like feels it's less forgetting and more having it taken, right? Of having 2 days ago taken. Like, you can hold it in your hand and it drips away, and she just, like, grabs her sign, grabs her coffee, and starts, like, backing away into a tent without saying anything, and gives you the saddest look imaginable of, like, I'm sorry to do this, as she, like, backs silently into a tent and zips it up.
You did what to my friend?
And he's rolling up his sleeves and pushing up his. I found our next point of contact. Do you
want to know my next point of contact? And I hit him.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, you do.
Sorry, that was just hanging there.
No, it's exactly the right thing. Take some tokens.
Remind me of the token. Is it 5 then bad stuff happens?
It is 5 and then something bad happens, which I think is a ruin move, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Or is it just it explodes? I gotta find that. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to take it to 5 because I gave myself 2 because I was feeling abandoned because she'd left us. The Miss Cochran, of course, abandoned us. So it was reminding me that the whole thing is kind of bringing back my abandonment fear. So I'd already pushed myself to 2. So if that's 3, that takes me to 5. So that's going to hit a ruin move, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, I believe. Let me just confirm this. After a move, if you have 5 or more, you are torn between your monstrous nature and human heart. When you are torn between, you are tempted by what does the darkness demand of Link?
Ooh. Actually, the two are to yearn for a love that can never be mine, but I also was going to have to fall in love with the harbouring of the apocalypse. And broadly, the love that can be mine is my previous, as in those,
Sure.
you know. And that generally, I've got a type, and it's people who want to destroy the world, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you've just learned about somebody with the capacity to destroy the world, and like that is taking shape in your mind, and you are tempted by the darkness. Do you let your monstrous nature show and describe the damage your outburst causes? Do you diminish your power and conform to the pressure of humanity? Or do you spend a bond with someone to describe how they directly or inadvertently help you regain control?
I think I want to like spend the bond if that's all right. Can I spend?
Yeah,
I've got one with you.
Yeah.
In my head is I've hurt you.
Yep.
You know, that kind of like. So I see the fact I've lashed out so much, and it's what I wanted to do is the
Yeah.
And if we're going into, I've already said the Hallmark reference at the same time. This is the kind of like, don't you realise that true love is standing? You're lusting after these bad boys in these imaginary Terry in prison, whilst this perfect, awful love is, you know, this person's been there for you all along, but she doesn't realise. She just realises she's hurt. She's hurt him. She sees the fact that, you know, I could have just torn your arm off or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's, gosh, you were rude. Then I was rude. I am the worst person. Sorry.
Oh, I'm taking two more. Oh no. I'm going to take 2 tokens and also go to 5 because I think like it's either asking you. I think I'm asking now for you to feed me a part of yourself and saying like, please, I can take it. I can take it. I can take your rudeness better than any human or monster on this planet. You are free to unleash the wrath that is in your heart, because unleashing that wrath on me means that you're not unleashing it. And he gestures towards the tent. And I'm marking a ruin. I'm describing the damage that my outburst causes, and I don't think it's physical damage. I think it is. I think that it represents the thing that I am pulled towards, which is to consume what is beyond the door and to ruin what was beautiful. And like, I think I am fully becoming a devil upon your shoulder of saying like allowing you to become more wrathful and more damaging in the way that you interact in the world. And like I'm indulging your worst self as I point us, as I'm like, but for now we need to go and we need to confront someone that left us to die a long time ago. And we need to go find out what she knows and if she's behind all of this.
That was rude. I put it. Well, that lady's probably still got a lot of memories left, and some of them must have been bad. On average, it was
probably some bad ones. I probably took some bad ones.
Yeah. Let's hang on to that, eh? I punch your arm gently. Gently, quotation marks.
Yeah, I think it still knocks him off his feet and he has to scramble up. Miss Cochran's bookmobile is parked alongside of a large city park. It's bright, it's colorful, it's decorated with cartoon figures, and almost immediately tokens to the floor. Almost immediately. That's 2 tokens to 10. I am unleashing the darkness upon this bookmobile. Or even more so, I'm really surrendering to the hunger and like tearing into this thing. And taking an 8 to 10. I've fed on the I have blunted the worst edges of my hunger because I'm surrendering to the hunger within me, which is the hunger for power and ideas, and I am like ripping open the door and tearing through books and like absorbing all of this like magical power. And I really like the idea of making a bond with Miss Cochran at this moment and like learning who she is in the moments before she emerges.
Great.
Yeah. What's Link doing as you see this bookmobile being torn to pieces in front of you?
I feel it's almost like I actually get the image of it's the comic. It's doing nothing is never a good move in an RPG. But in my head, I've got her arms crossed and tapping a foot. It's that kind of like it's an almost over with the utter violence of what you're doing. The kind of like the comic ticking time bomb of Link. It's kind of the thing. It's like I'm waiting for her to show up because I have words to say to her.
Over your shoulder, as like tapping your foot over your shoulder. You're seeing in front of you the thing being torn to pieces, and you just hear, how long do you think it's going to take him to finish blowing up my bookmobile? Because I'd really like to start the repair process.
Oh, you.
She looks down at you, and then like her eyes like go wide for a second, and then just, yep, me.
Can we start the repair process of our friendship? You abandoned us.
I abandoned Division. You were an unnecessary, unfortunate complication in that process.
But we were friends. I said we probably were never friends. There's no way I can actually not just add darkness tokens now and immediately, since I'm still on 5, I'm immediately going to darkness move again.
I mean, I do think you're revealing your heart if you want to burn some tokens in the process.
Let's burn some to avoid just destroying everything immediately. So one thing about this game is you're just so primed to explode if you don't.
You're so primed to keep collecting tokens and then you're just like, I guess I'm just going to keep exploding.
I'm going to have to, find a move quickly and let's grasp a key quickly.
I do think that I'm going to spend some tokens and grasp a key here.
That is a good one.
As I'm tearing through this bookmobile.
Okay, I'm going to I'll probably up to 7. I'm going to burn 3 on this roll.
Yeah,
so, down to 4. Oh, needed to. I rolled a 4, get an 8. So my heart reaches.
There you go. Okay, great. Do you want to take a bond with Miss Cochran?
Yeah, I'll take a bond. Actually, let's do that.
All right. Because that means that we've all got a bond together. We're all connected. We have this shared history, and I've got a 10 on a key, which is going to push us to 4 keys. Which means that we've got a +2 to unlocking the door, which is really, or we've got a +2 to unlocking the door. We could roll it now, or we could try and get one more key. I'm going to look at what my options are off of this list.
What key did you find? Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I'm looking at my list right now and trying to decide what feels right. I'm going to go with a circle of Shady Lake houses, or Shady Lady Lake houses, arranged in a precise arcane order.
That's great.
And I think that I find this by way of like, as I'm tearing through this and just like feasting on all of this energy and magic and knowledge, like that symbol just like appears in front of me, fully formed in my mind's eye, and like kind of like throws me backwards in a shockwave to where I tumble to both of like where I'm laying at both of your feet, and I look up. So you found her. That's nice.
Yes, she's alive. She's not dead.
Well, not dead yet. And he starts to stand up, and I think I think as I'm on the ground, I think she just like holds out a hand and just like jams me, like spectral force slams me back into the ground before I even have a chance to get up.
Yeah, it's like I've stopped back. Only division agents hit division agents. You're not a division agent anymore.
And she like takes a step back. Look, you're right. I'm not, and I appreciate you acknowledging that. Whatever's happening here, I'm not a part of it.
Are you? Tell me, like,
she kind of like, and she pauses for a second. I didn't want to be a part of it. I want to. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing something, and it's magical and it's powerful, and I think as she trails off, I'm gonna pull us out of the game for a second and ask you a question.
Sure.
Do we unlock the door, or do we try for one more key?
No, it's like I was going to suggest because I think we mentioned we're going to try to get a key off the old lady who we didn't actually do the key move.
Oh, we didn't do that. You're right. Yeah. We didn't do that.
I was going to suggest Blazing the Darking it and flashback the reveal the thing we learned there.
Throw down some tokens. Throw down some tokens and grasp the key here.
Okay. Oh, I've messed that one up for once. I rolled a 6. Door remains. I missed it. Oh no, I choose to mark. I will mark ruin to uncover the key.
Okay, great. The key here is. Let me see my options. What is the?
Can you give a suggestion of how I got it? When the dream.
Yeah, please.
When the dreams when you pulled all the days out of her head.
I picked up something. Well, then that tells me exactly what it is, and this is a thing that I've had written down. It's a dream shared by every single person in town.
Ooh.
It is a dream of every person in town gathering in the same place at the same time and standing together and all being sort of spectrally pulled towards something, like a looming shape that is sort of pulling everyone in a direction, and adding to it the monstrous element. Like it's the dream logic. It is specifically the classic dream logic, and it is the, like, Terry says that we've got to go towards the shape. We got to go towards the shape.
Nope.
And we all feel that same pull of, like, someone that you trust telling you to do something that in a dream feels natural, but in the upper brain of your logic feels strange and terrifying.
Mm.
Which means that we have 5 keys.
We do.
I think that's a good. I think we're ready to unlock this door.
I think we are. I think this is a mystery we can solve.
So we've got 3 facets. We have the Harbinger, what we think the monster is. We have the murder of the Chamber of Commerce president. We have the Harbinger monster, and we have the door to power, which is the apocalyptic thing that may or may not occur. The keys that we have are the Shady Lady Lakes development deal, a dream shared by every person in town, a circle of houses arranged in a precise arcane order, Miss Cochrane's magical storytime secretly actually magical, and shadows without bodies going about their daily business. Which of these keys would you like to attach to one of those 3 facets? Those are 3 facets, are the Door of Power, the Harbinger, and who killed Rufus and why.
Right, my overlying sort of thought, if we're going to start puzzling this out, is that there's 2 things going on. One of the 2 things I was playing with are kind of contradictory, of course. And the great joy of the system is we don't need to choose until now.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, like, Cochrane is specifically connected to Rufus some way, and that's the killing, and that's Miss Cochrane's entirely to blame for specifically Rufus doing the killing. And possibly even full stop, as in she's trying to make an imaginary person here to do something imaginary. However, Rufus is somehow connected to it and trying to make more imaginary people to, like, and that's kind of, and you sort of, that's where the other sort of imaginary shadow people are coming from, or like it's very powerful. It's going back in time. We're seeing that, and basically she's got this one thing she's working on, and they were she was working her own kind of little harbinger thing. And it's going to be like something much bigger, and he was going to do something else, which is even worse, arguably, actually, I guess. And now she either wants to take control of the project or stop it. And of course, since it's going to build a harbinger, I imagine it's actually the latter. As in, it's more like professional jealousy rather than trying to stop it.
Yeah, that feels right. Taking control of it feels right. So I'm thinking that it feels like we're pushing towards Miss Cochrane and her magical story time to be the ultimate harbinger here, especially now that Rufus is dead. Like, he was plotting, and so maybe like the shadows without bodies we can tie to Rufus's murder as, like, the implement that was killed was, like, conjuring imaginary people through the belief of a town that was shared through stories and imagination. And the Door of Power really feels like it is tied very specifically to this circle of houses that are in this swamp, and there is something there that is being conjured.
Exactly. I think it takes a village.
And so and so that also then probably points us towards the door, the idea that this drift. Then I've got a pitch then how to tie in this shared dream to it that also connects to the Door of Power that I think is going to really push us towards this. But before we get to that pitch, why don't you roll us some dice, add 3 to it, and see what we get.
All right, here we go. 7 to takes us to 10.
That's exactly what we want to see. That's a perfect success. We've unlocked the door. We've rolled really well today. We've tracked down Doom's door. We know what it is, how to unlock it. We're going to present an opportunity to protect what matters most, take down the Harbinger, or drive back the apocalypse. So here's what has happened. Rufus Alizraki had struck a deal with a real estate developer, but not a real estate developer of our world. A real estate developer from some horrible fairy court.
Can I give you a name? An unreal estate. developer.
The Unreal Estate is very good. Unreal Estates is very good. Unreal Estates contacted Rufus, cozied up to him, promised him power beyond belief, and this being a petty tyrant of a man who is extremely comfy cozying up to power, struck them a deal to create a development in town that would become space over time to fae folk from the next world over. They started to inhabit this place. There are imaginary bodies walking around this development at this hour. But he did not count on the fact that the kindly old lady that runs the bookmobile that he has been bullying for months is actually an ancient, centuries-old witch with the power to upend this operation. And she created a different kind of imaginary presence. Somebody that the town liked, that the town connected with. Used that person to drive an influence against Rufus. Drove a feud between the two of them. So that even if people didn't think Terry was the kind of person that would do this, some people did. And it made that murder that much more shocking. And now the murder is done. Theoretically, Miss Cochran could walk away from all of this, but there's still that circle of houses. There's still that gateway to the Fae realm, to the next world over, to the Unreal Estates. And she has been hovering, we see that rune shape of houses, that map, that blueprint forming in an arcane rune in front of her face as she kind of says, but I wasn't involved, but now, I mean, people need homes. Families need places to raise their kin. They probably need bookmobiles. I imagine the Fae read books. And she's just smiling wider and wider and wider. And what is Link doing in this moment?
I was about to say, this is the moment when Link is, no. Just have absolute. This is, raising children. They don't raise children. They raise R-A-Z-E children. It is not good. It is rude. And it will not be allowed here. Yet. Anyway, she says inwardly, as she's very aware that her kind of prophecy is kind of that kind of part.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of steps back and rears back and goes, "You've solved the murder. You've accomplished your objectives. I'm giving you the chance to leave and part ways and go back and report that a small town was restored to peace." And her, crackling with power and starting runes forming around her as she is rearing back.
And I was like, yes, but I'm going to give you a chance to give me your best shot. Now come at me.
Yeah.
As she takes to the air. That actually gives me tokens.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
And I think I am rolling. Oh yeah, I'm spending some darkness tokens. I think I've got a few. I've got 5 because of I exploded. Because of the time I exploded. I'm sitting on 5. I'm spending 3 of them to activate my special move, Do Harbingers Dream of Monsters Like Me. You have acquired a taste of power that only a Harbinger can wield. Under your skin, carved into your bone, burrowing in your flesh is what remains of the Harbingers you have consumed. And I am tearing away at my skin to reveal the slumbering Harbinger underneath.
Nice.
This is every nightmare, every apocalyptic plan. This is every doomsday device that Doc has ever envisioned. And that's a 9. Tell me what Link is doing in that moment, and then we'll play all of this out at once.
It is so funny. It's my ability is literally ridiculous at special strength. So it's this kind of I'm doing the kind of complete hammering her is the way. Mm-hmm. Is it kind of, that kind of get the pixie flying around?
Yeah,
I think it's like that, but with ultraviolence. Uh-huh. And I'm hitting as hard as I can with it. Sounds that kind of you've got to clap to make the fairies come back.
Yeah,
it's like that, but imagine the claps just like sledgehammers. That's what it sounds like, and that's the kind of the visual. I'm just basically hammering the living hell out of her. I'm a simple little fairy.
You hammer the living hell out of her as I peel away, like, just like collapse into a mass of skin and jacket and clothes. And we see this entire real estate development, house by house, just like pulled apart by tornado like winds of fire and chaos.
Nice.
Just obliterated as I unleash the harbinger within, and then slowly, agonizingly, first bone, then flesh, then skin, then clothes, reform in my lab suit, flexing. Hand, maybe a hand on your shoulder mid punch. It's over.
No,
We
it's
stopped it.
not. I say, stomping on the reins one more time. Now it's over. Thank you. And I hug you.
I think I hug you back, but I'm looking down at Miss Cochran and I'm like, she wanted a life that wasn't this. But it was all too easy to take opportunity when it emerged.
We find very hard to be humans, and sometimes humanity seems to be a problem. It really does.
You know, the world would be simpler without it, but that's not my, and he says that, and like you feel while you're hugging him like full body sweat for a moment of that. The only way that I can describe it is the Casey Green react phase of just pure body sweat. Just yeah, but that's not our decision to make. And he like quietly pulls himself apart, adjusts his coat, fiddles with his glasses. We should head to HQ. We should check in. They'll have questions.
They will. And you've been keeping excellent notes, and you can answer them.
Note-taking is what I do best, and he starts to walk away, and we get the long shot of the two of them walking back, and that is game.
Hooray!
That ruled. I'm so happy with that. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm glad we got, we beat up someone giving library books to people, which of course is always important that we defeat all librarians.
Yep, of course.
No, I enjoyed it a lot. Also, like, it's such a great little game. You know what I mean? Like, little is not the right word, but that kind of, it's just really strong characters, and you're doing stuff, and everyone's that's the thing, is everyone's ludicrously overpowered.
That's the thing that's so satisfying about it, is like, it feels like everybody gets that opportunity to just do the biggest and coolest thing imaginable, but also everybody gets that opportunity to like, but the way that you get there being that you are like hurt and like vulnerable and damaged in these very specific ways is so compelling that it really brings out that sense of like balancing sort of the heartbreaking and horrific that comes in the sense of being these monsters.
Yeah. It's like the one thing I was especially at the end, I found myself thinking, like, I've got this character and the dreaming is bad. That's the core driver thing. But of course, can we dream to be better? Is kind of the thing I kept on thinking. Yeah. It's like, so even dreaming to be better is also implying and bringing the end about, and that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, there's all really good. There's a poetry to this game.
There's such a poetry to it. It's such a beautiful experience.
Yes, poor little Link.
This was great. What was your favorite moment from play?
Oh man, I don't want to. I hate. Okay, favorite moment. Let me think. If I had to pick one. Oh, the memories, the awful, like that kind of like, all that's you doing that. That's one of the that's Apocalypse Keys at its best. You do something awful. Me being kind, then you being hurt. Doing something awful was too bad. Me overreacting to it, and so, and just even that idea in the moment, every second day, not last 5 years. You know what I mean? All those kind of stuff work together, and that's role playing. You know what I mean? It's the yes and.
That's the magic of it. And like for me, it was really the unexpected realness of the moment where Link confronted or like shoved Doc against a wall in Rufus's office, of like it hit that sense of like, there was a mechanical trigger to it, but it did hit that sense really beautifully of these are larger than life characters, but there is real like hurt and feelings underneath, and like snapping from like very larger than life, we're watching this shadow play, we're experiencing all of these imaginary figures, into, hey, this is a really real moment where like a hurt person has lashed out because they were mocked in an insensitive way. Like that was that's the bell game for me. That's the magic for me in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's worth noting that all the people who don't know Apocalypse Keys that well, of course, there's those are things you earn darkness points for doing, but also like there's broadly like things you should choose to do as this playbook. So it's kind of like you're encouraged to do these big bold moves, which absolutely describe which both ground the sort of damaged and impulse control problem people you're playing. I mean, like it's a really great version of narrative, and it works so well. It
was wonderful,
honestly,
really incredible.
For me, that was the bit because the character's playing quite cutesy up to that point, and it's that kind of he's the I've got to show more teeth here because otherwise it's going to be to that it's going to be both.
And it was such a good moment of feeling like you had you like it shifted the character in a nutshell in a way that like I immediately latched onto and was very, very happy with. This ruled. Thank you so much for playing this with me. This was an incredible experience.
Honestly, it's a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Real quick before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
My name, if you spell my name right, Kieron, Kieron, Gillen, Gillen. The best place is my newsletter. I'm mainly on socials on Blue Sky and Instagram now. My newsletter is on Button Down, which is weekly, and I write about everything. I link to everything, and I write a lot about various other stuff. So newsletter will link to everything.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for playing this with me. This was an absolute joy. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, Bass Me. And thanks again to Kieron for coming on the show. That game was... Oh my goodness, I am giddy. I am blown away with like the experience that we had and the stories that we told and getting to like play around and really make some magic happen live at the table. Games are good. You can check out Kieron's newsletter, Old Men Running the World, and get more information about all of his upcoming works, including the Power Fantasy and Die Loaded, as well as a link to pick up your own copy of Apocalypse Keys in the show notes. And be sure to follow Kieron on social media at KieronGillen.bsky.social. You can also find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending. And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast. And join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or Ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logos by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.
Never gonna die.